Hi, everyone. All right, we're going to finally get started. So hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Elizabeth Morikawa, and I work in public programs here at JANM. And on behalf of JANM, I want to thank all of you, both in person and virtually, to the 2023 Imagine Little Tokyo Short Story Contest Awards Ceremony. This contest is presented by the Little Tokyo Historical Society in partnership with Discover Nikkei, which is a project of JANM. And the Discover Nikkei project manager, Yoko Nishimura, is actually here with us today. And I just think it's so special that we're able to gather in person after what feels like a long time of being virtually, so that we can finally put the faces to the names of all the hardworking people that have been working on the contest for all these years that we've been virtual. So with that, I'll pass it over to the Imagine Little Tokyo co-chairs, Naomi Hirayama and Mia Iwataki.
Thank you so much, and welcome to our 10th anniversary. This began as a brainchild by Bill Watanabe and grew to include youth and Japanese language categories. I love this event because it's a celebration of this place, Little Tokyo, and the committee, all volunteers, are wonderful, and I'd like to hang out with them.
Well, she took the words right out of my mouth. The Imagine Little Tokyo Short Story Contest is one of my favorite projects of the Little Tokyo Historical Society because it is a celebration of writing, creativity, and why it's so important to love and nurture and keep Little Tokyo going. And this 10th anniversary is really a special year. We received 139 submissions from as far as Uganda, Sri Lanka, and the Philippines. It's just been wonderful. And we have some special gifts for you today. We have a raffle because it's our 10th anniversary, and we're kind of tying in the themes of the winning stories to that raffle. But our best gift to you today is our MC, Tamlyn Tomita. And I think Tamlyn is an actress that you've known from Karate Kid 2, Joy Luck Club, Star Trek, Picard, and so many other things. But what you may not know about her is she is a staunch, longtime community activist. And just this year, and this month, she was appointed to be the chair of CAPA, the Coalition for Asian Pacific. What does help me?
It's a
PAC.
It's a PAC.
It's a PAC that supports and raises money for key races to get the Asian American voice out there. And I didn't realize this. You're in the Electoral College, and she put in a vote for our current president. So please welcome Tamlyn Tomita. She's like so much more than her acting. She's a community fighter and community hero. Tamlyn Tomita.
Mia, thank you so very much for those kind words. I'm just a daughter like you are of Little Tokyo and a daughter like Naomi, but I'd also like to acknowledge all the other daughters and the sons of Little Tokyo and the broader Japanese American community in Southern California, as well as across the nation, but also acknowledging that this is Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So aloha! And mahalo nui loa, meaning that we welcome the Native Hawaiian voice just as last year. So using that phrase that everybody loves all around the world, aloha, I would like to invite you to look to your left or your right, to your neighbor, and just say aloha. There we go. See, get the spirit, get the juices going in this room together. I'm just so pleased and just so thankful for being asked to host one of our favorite events, the Imagine Little Tokyo Short Story Contest. 10 years ago, the Little Tokyo Historical Society imagined this short story contest. So go writers, WGA West, WG East. We are all writers. We are all storytellers. So we must support those writers. for the stories and the histories and the herstories that we are able to watch, view, consume, and sink into our hearts through film, television. So this is an example. This is kind of like an offshoot. Is that we are all story writers. We are all storytellers. So let's all embrace, celebrate, and support and uplift all these stories, especially those that are coming from specifically our Little Tokyo community. So 10 years ago, Little Tokyo Historical Society brought up this contest that would celebrate and invite people here into Little Tokyo, downtown Los Angeles. And that response was initially so overwhelming. And in its inaugural year, 65 people entered their stories about family gatherings for China Meishi at Far East Cafe, just around the block. Historical sagas, tragedies, and love stories, and futuristic fantasies. And that Imagine Little Tokyo short story contest was born. And the next year, Bill Watanabe had the idea that a Japanese language category be included, celebrating all the Shin Issei. And the following year, the youth category was included. So expanded this pool of short story possibilities. And to the delight of our writers, our community of writers, well-known actors were recruited to read these stories, attracting more people to the contest and to the awards celebration. So Imagine Little Tokyo and Discover Nikkei in partnership expanded the audience and all the opportunities in telling these short stories. And during these pandemic years, just the idea of being able to gather together was sorely missed. So I really, really want you to look around the room and just really appreciate the kinetic energy that you feel flowing from neighbor to neighbor, sitting next to each other, that we're all here and gathering in hearing all these short stories together. So the virtual celebrations actually was a benefit because it actually tripled our audience, and it also helped us throw out our short story contest across the nation and internationally as well. That's why I did not know we have submissions from Uganda. It's like, my God, it's like, again, the Japanese American, Japanese Nikkei diaspora is literally all around the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 10th. We're in double digits number now. So remember when we were little kids and we celebrated our 10th birthdays? It's like, yay, we're adults, we're grown-ups now. And we're all going, oh my goodness, you're all getting older now. But Imagine Little Tokyo Short Stories celebration is here. So this is our first in-person gathering in 3 years. And we would like to give a shout out to all of you at home who are joining us here today. So this year, as Mia has mentioned, we received 139 categories, 39 entries, and the short story committee was totally impressed. Oh my gosh, I'm just reading the list of submissions. Not only did we get submissions from Uganda, but Nigeria, Pakistan, the Philippines, Canada, Malta, India, Armenia, Sri Lanka, Poland, and all parts of Japan. And today, the winning story in each category, the youth, Japanese language, and adult, will be introduced by a representative of a prestigious judging panel. And the winning stories will be then brought to life with dramatic readings by well-known and beloved actors. And lastly, we will hear from the winning author. And we also have the special treat that Mia and Naomi mentioned today. We will have a raffle prize. 10th anniversary means $10 raffle prizes will be given to those with lucky ticket numbers. So 10 on 10. And a grand prize will be awarded at the end of the program. So let's get started by announcing all the winners. And you will be able to sit back and enjoy the interpretations of our community stories by these award-winning actors. We will begin with the youth category, one that is always full of delight, full of surprise, and full of potential and of hope. This year, we have received submissions from our youngest writers to date, 2 8-year-olds. Our youth writers came from as far away as Nigeria and the Philippines, as I mentioned. Most were from California, but also from Jersey, Texas, and Indiana. I have the pleasure of introducing to you our first youth judge, Eloise Wong, supreme bassist, supreme vocalist from the viral sensation and legitimate girl band, Girl spelled GRRL, the Linda Lindas. Our second judge is Kevin Awakuni, who as lead librarian for the Los Angeles Public Library posted a video in 2021 in May, of the Linda Lindas performing Racist Sexist Boy, a song about anti-Asian hate based on the experience of their drummer in high school. And it totally went viral. That same month, Epitaph Records signed the Linda Lindas. That is almost unheard of, signing an unknown band, especially a girl band, with this first song. And then the next month after that, they appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live. This year, they just recently appeared at the 22nd Coachella Valley Music Festival and opened for Blondie at the Greek Theater. Our third youth judge is Catherine Otoshi, children's book author famous for her series 1, 0, and 2, which speaks out against bullying. This is quite a judges panel that Mia and Naomi and the committee have comprised. So going on to the youth story, that is the winner, is 1,000 Cranes, written by 15-year-old Jocelyn Doan, who lives in Marietta, Georgia. Jocelyn's story will be read by Japanese-American theater artist and storyteller Mika Dyo. Mika has had a featured role as Sue Hasegawa in the just recently released No Girl, for which she won Best Actress featured at the Austin Revolution Film Festival. She also received her bachelor's degree at the Theater Arts program at Cal State University Long Beach, and she says that she is dedicated to amplifying all our voices of silenced communities. After Mika's reading, the winning author, Jocelyn Doan, will talk about the inspiration behind her story, and to celebrate the story's theme, we've adorned the podium with Mia Iwataki's Origami Cranes. Yes? Thank you, Mia. Thank you. That's a lot of work. Every woman who's patiently folded the origami cranes knows it's a lot of work. So thank you for the display here that brings the Japanese kind of spirit, the Kizuna feeling, together for us today. And now we have Kevin Awakuni, who will be representing the youth judges, who will talk about how the judges did this difficult job selecting this year's winning story, 1,000 Cranes. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Kevin Awakuni.
All right. Thank you. Not a natural speaker, so I'm just going to read off my notes. Good afternoon. So nice to be here, and thank you for having me. Before I begin, I'd just like to take this moment to thank Naomi for giving me the opportunity to participate in this year's Imagine Little Tokyo short story contest. It's the first time I've ever been invited to judge anything, so it was quite an experience. And I was honored to do so, and I'd like to thank the other panelists who participated but couldn't be here today, which was Eloise. Catherine is actually right over here. Hi, Catherine. Yeah. Each year, the Imagine Little Tokyo short story contest works to heighten the awareness of Los Angeles' Little Tokyo by challenging both new and experienced writers to create a story that captures the spirit and essence of Little Tokyo and the people in it. And what we, the story committee members, were charged with was finding stories that captured the spirit and sense of Little Tokyo. And what a variety of stories we received. They ranged from cute mochi-eating robots to teenage time travelers to haunting ghost stories, all set in Little Tokyo. Personally, I found the experience insightful, getting to see how the next generation of writers and storytellers are thinking about their world, what their concerns are, along with their dreams, hopes, and fears. Out of the numerous entries that we received, there was one story that stood out for its polished and mature voice, and that was 1,000 Cranes by Jocelyn Doan. Congratulations to this winning writer. One of the many things that the committee enjoyed was the specificity of 1,000 Cranes, such as the location of various places in Little Tokyo, as well as the number of details woven into the story. It's also incredibly admirable that a youth wrote this. There is a sophisticated rhythm to the writer's style that is both unique and brimming with potential. As Eloise wrote, 1,000 Cranes has a very polished and mature voice. The author drew me into the beautiful relationship between the grandparents and the main character, and let me appreciate the love of Japanese culture that they hold. And here's what Catherine had to say. Lyrical with a lovely rhythm and style, it was an impactful narrative of a granddaughter telling the story of her grandfather's complete and all-absorbing dedication to his craft of making beautiful paper cranes, even to the point of his own demise. There are strong, specific, and memorable details that use all the senses to engage the reader. There's a natural ease with the author incorporating examples and situations that really captures the spirit of Little Tokyo and much of its vernacular in a wonderfully fluid way. Lastly, I just want to remark on what a great ending the story had, heartfelt with a touch of sadness and humanity. We and the committee hope that everyone gets a chance to read this remarkable work. And before I sign off, I also wanted to express my appreciation to all of the contestants who entered. Creative writing is a difficult endeavor under any circumstance, and the fact that we received so many high-quality entries is a testament to all of these who entered, so I applaud you. So again, congratulations to Jocelyn for this incredible achievement. Thank you very much.
"1,000 Cranes." The gentle breeze carrying the scent of freshly made mochi from the next-door shop greeted me as I strolled down the familiar pathway lined with vibrant bamboo stalks and hanging wisteria vines toward my grandmother, Akemi Tsurumi. Her wrinkled yet steady hands lovingly caressed the colorful paper that surrounded her in a circle, like a goddess among her faithful believers. I started to slow down my footsteps in hopes of catching her working her magic that seemed to flow from her calloused fingertips. One inhale, one exhale. A breath filled with the flowery scent of wisteria and the powerful essence of bamboo. And then, eyes that were blank yet all-knowing opened. Hands reached out to grab the sakura-colored paper, her nimble fingers folding and creasing as silence penetrated the air as if expressing its awe to her craft. 10 seconds. No, even less than that, and a complete transformation from the plain paper to an elegant crane stood between her hands. A magical demonstration of her workmanship of 40 years. Yet when her flying fingers stopped and the wind began to blow once again, a twitch started in her wrists. A twitch, and then a tremble, and then a never-ending shake that encompassed her whole arm. Hurriedly, I resumed my walk and headed over to a concealed wooden cabinet that held the familiar rows of bottles and used-up containers. Grabbing the ceramic bowl in the design of a crane, I made my way over with the tatami mat numbing the sounds of my panicked footsteps. "Grandma, are you feeling okay, or do you need me to get Grandpa's cane?" I asked, sliding over to her side and gently grabbing her arms to rub the salve into her wrists. Taking a generous amount, I slowly massaged the cold cream into her skin, concerned that I could barely differentiate the coldness between the cream and her own skin. "I'm all right, my little bird. I was just feeling a little nostalgic and got too caught up in the memories," she replied back, indifferent to her current state that trembled every time the wisteria vine swayed. Her eyes, that hadn't been able to see for a decade, accurately located the paper crane that she had made a few minutes ago, holding it up to me like a proud child would to their mother. "How is it, Baobe? Is it just like his?" "It's amazing, Grandma. He would be proud of what you've done," I reassured her, taking her hands that held the precious crane and circling them with mine. As I wrapped her arms in cloth, I noticed that the hour hand on my watch slowly ticking towards the 12. It's time for her nap now, I silently thought. I began to roll out the sleeping mat, stacking thick bundles of blankets on top of one another, as she always felt the chill, no matter how high the temperature rose in Little Tokyo. The sounds of my wrestling and pants of fatigue filled the room, slight for the sounds of fiddling as my grandma traced over and over the folds of her paper crane. "All right, Grandma, it's time for your nap, and then we'll head over to Uncle Taco's place for soba after you wake up," I whispered into her ear as I led her into the sleeping arrangements I had prepared. From an outsider's view, one might have thought the decorations that adored the blankets and pillows were overboard. Some might have even said bordering on an unhealthy obsession. Countless illustrations of cranes drawn and painted in different styles filled the white expanse of smooth silk. Even the garments that hung from the wardrobe were decorated with childish cartoons of cranes. "Thank you, my little bird, and I'm sorry that you have to fill in the shop today instead of me. my grandma tiredly mumbled as she got under the covers and laid her head on the crane-shaped pillow. I smoothed out the wrinkles that had collected on her forehead and kissed her on the cheek, repeatedly reassuring her of my own voluntary decision to work in the shop. Before she drifted off to sleep, I took out an old, worn-out paper crane that had been stored in an ordinary box on my grandma's dresser, like a treasure buried for safety. Careful to mind the minute rips and tears on its wings, I placed the crane near her pillow, so it would be the first thing she saw when she woke up, just like how Grandpa used to do. My grandma's quaint shop was located on the quieter side of Little Tokyo, near the antique shops and local specialty cafes that only had the most loyal customers walking through those doors. And my grandma's place, 1000 Cranes, was no exception. I walked into the familiar shop, with its faded wallpaper designed with millions of colorful cranes and displays that housed these said colorful cranes in 3D. While wiping down the glass and checking the inventory, I heard a nostalgic ring of a bell and a rush of warm air flow in. Tidying myself up to look somewhat presentable, I headed over to greet the first customer of the day. "Hi, I'm Akira's daughter, Asuka Surumi, and I'll be filling in for her today. What can I do for you today?" I politely asked, sizing up the person that had just walked in. A kind, elderly face stared back at me, with salt and pepper hair done up in a tight bun and a unique wooden cane that had stickers of the Manekinoko pasted on it. I smiled inwardly at the similarities between the lady and my grandma. "Asuka? Oh, I hardly recognized you from all the baby photos that Akira showed me. You've grown into such a lovely woman," the lady exclaimed, joy visible on her face as smile wrinkles lined her eyes. It was clear that these wrinkles were evidence of a happy and fulfilling life, perhaps relating to her obsession with the Manekineko. After exchanging pleasantries, and the woman introducing herself as Konako, she proceeded to place an order for 500 cranes for her sister's upcoming wedding, and a special order for 10 cats. As Konako exited the shop with the sound of the bell following her departure, I began to routinely lay out the colored paper in a familiar circle that surrounded me. As I stretched out my fingertips, I heard the old radio in the back of the shop play out the wistful tune of Tsuru no Sugomori. One inhale, one exhale. A breath filled with the musty scent of thick paper and the wafting aroma of jasmine tea from the cafe 2 blocks down. My smooth fingers, mimicking the calloused ones of my grandmother's, drew out a golden-colored paper from the circle and began to fold and crease to the resolute rhythm that encompassed the room in its sentiment. As I hummed to its tune, my mind began to wander. The name of this shop, 1000 Cranes, was in honor of my grandpa, the original owner that started it all and the one who brought his magical cranes to Little Tokyo. He used to tell me how the Tsurumi family was watched over by these elegant, majestic creatures, and how on the day of my birth, a white crane was spotted near my crib. That's how my nickname came to be. Little White Crane, or as my grandma says it, my little white bird. Every day he wore his ironed-out shirt, coupled with a pair of slacks, as he tended to his orizuru. As I sat on the countertop, I began to count each and every crane on the walls and ceiling as my grandpa dutifully filled out his customers' orders. The pile of colorful paper cranes would continue to grow as pile upon pile reached high enough that it would seem to fly up to meet the cranes in the sky. And at the end of the day, all that remained were hands wrapped in stiff bandages with dozens of cuts that dotted the surface of his palms, soothed with the salve made from herbals. But even then, he would always manage to fold one last crane, a white one, just for my grandma. My little crane, these orizuru are far more than just folded paper. They are the embodiment of happiness, no matter what that may be. The breeze that kisses your cheek when you wake up, the bamboo that shields you from the hot sun, or even the earthly touch of soil that hugs your feet when you walk. They are all your orizuru. my grandpa would lovingly whisper to me as he guided my hands to fold my own cranes, talking step by step through every slanted crease and awkwardly transformed paper crane. Time continued to flow. As the shop became a little more worn out, my grandpa became a little more haggard down and tired, yet the cranes still retained their everlasting beauty. But the sky that seemed big enough to hold all the paper cranes in the world soon darkened one day. Ominous clouds began to cover Little Tokyo in its gloom, and soon began to release punishing and unrelenting torrents of rain. I remember when that broken bell had let out a screech, and a customer in all black walked in. His thumping boots dirtied the floors with mud water, and the blackness that this man carried with him began to invade the shop's colorful walls until all I could see was a wide back covered in a drenched trench coat. My grandpa's own hunched-over back made its way over as he politely greeted the first customer of the day. From under the brim of the man's black hat, a deep and hoarse voice sounded. "I heard you take requests for paper cranes. Are you able to fold 1,000 cranes by next week?" A senbazuru, I thought. Impossible! Folding 1,000 cranes by next week is asking my grandpa to overwork himself to death. However, contrary to my hopes, my grandpa took up the challenge to get this done by then. When I asked him in pleas why he wouldn't rescind his answer, he answered back, "Little crane, how do I turn down folding someone's odizuru? That is asking me to turn down someone's happiness, and I cannot do that." During those 7 long days, the usually dark lamp in the store was lit in the dark hours nearing midnight, and the coughs that would plague my grandpa ever so often became more frequent. But my grandpa remained steady. His fingers would continuously dance over the colorful paper as the bags underneath his dulled eyes grew bigger and his hands began to tremble with fatigue. But when that man in all black came back once again, all 1,000 cranes, packed and wrapped, were presented on the countertop, a delicate representation of my grandpa's craftsmanship and hours of perfection, only protected by a thin sliver of cardboard from the box that housed his cranes. But I learned that every happiness comes with a price. My grandpa's hours of labor that had chipped away at his health and sleep took its toll on him, and he was soon admitted to a nearby hospital. My grandma and I stayed by his side, watching his crane folding on his hospital bed as he laughed off his condition and told us he was fine. But he wasn't. As the pile of cranes on his bedside grew, his days of life became numbered, and then finally reached 0. I know my grandpa would have never thought his death as a sad occasion, where the people he loved and the people who loved him were all in grief. So, I arranged for all his loyal customers, his longtime friends, and the Little Tokyo community to each fold a crane and bring it to his grave. As we each sent him off, I hoped that everyone's odizuru would bring him the happiness that he had always hoped for others. And some say it was my own hallucination, my own disillusion that came to be from my grief. But I swear on the thousands of cranes that line the shop's walls, that amidst the gentle showers of rain that fell, there was a majestic white crane standing atop my grandfather's grave. Whether it's because of my rich imagination, as everyone had claimed, or the manifestation of my grief, I had always hoped that the divine creature that had stopped on that one spot was a symbol of the crane that my grandfather had always told had watched over our family. A being that had come to retrieve my grandpa, to take him soaring, always and forever, watching over me and my grandma as a crane in the sky. However, my grandma had never gotten over the death of him. Every day she starts her morning folding paper cranes to remind herself of him till her bones begin to ache and those relentless fingers start to tremble. And the only thing that can calm those shakes and the tiredness that possesses the whole of her body is the white crane that my grandpa used to make for her every night. As I seated my grandma at the quaint little table in the corner of the restaurant, I called over the waitress to order 2 orders of tsukimi soba to enjoy it in the dimly lit, cozy atmosphere that carried over the heat and warmth from the kitchen. As I patiently tended to my grandma, doling out colorful papers that were soon transformed into the familiar, elegant cranes that decorated the table, I noticed a flash of bright white in the corner of my eye. Turning my head to look, I found a single white crane standing against a softly lit backdrop of the bustling people of Little Tokyo, staring directly at me with eyes of familiarity. Surrounded by my grandpa's orizuru and the earthly aroma of soba noodles, I began to smile and slowly whispered to the standing crane, "Hi, Grandpa."
Mika Dyo reading Jocelyn Doan's 1,000 Cranes, and now we present Jocelyn Doan's acceptance speech.
Hey everybody! So first of all, I want to say that I am so happy and grateful that I won the short story contest for the youth category, because I know that there were a lot of unbelievably good writers that participated in this contest, and it's kind of a shocker that I did win. But when I did get that email, I was so happy and so much excitement. And I also want to thank the judges and the Little Tokyo Historical Society for putting in the work and supporting this contest and trying to spread the word, because I know that as a beginner writer, this was a really good opportunity to participate in, and I'm so glad that I did. So when I first read the prompt for entering this contest, I instantly realized what I wanted to do, because when I think of Little Tokyo, I think of a well-knitted community that helps each other and builds each other up and is really family-oriented, and I wanted to basically show that through my words. So when I was writing the story, I also looked up some, Japanese culture to integrate into my story, and I know that I'm not the best writer, so I wanted to make sure that I was able to convey basically what Japanese culture means to me in my story. And the words just flowed out of me when I just started thinking about what Little Tokyo is, what it means to people who live there, and what it means to people who haven't visited, but I think they get the inkling that they know that it's a tight family, even though they're not related, and have such a deep culture. And I want to spread awareness about that because it's such a beautiful place. And I haven't personally visited it, even though I really want to. So I hope to show that even if you don't visit it, I hope that you can imagine yourself being in that place through my story. And before I sign off, I just want to say thank you once again to everybody who participated, and to the judges, and to everybody who supported this contest. And I want to just say thank you.
Oh my goodness, she's so adorable, Jocelyn Doan, and I am presuming that she is of Vietnamese American descent, and remember, she's from Marietta, Georgia. So for the work that she's done, I don't know how old she is. She feels like maybe 15, so high school, right? But again, the maturity that she just was just so imbued with is just really resonant, and the research and the care and time that she took to really reflect what Little Tokyo is in her mind really reflects what Imagine Little Tokyo is. So congratulations to Jocelyn Doan for her youth category winning submission of 1,000 Cranes. Continuing on, one way of Little Tokyo Historical Society and Discover Nikkei making their 10th anniversary celebration special was to give a nod to the theme of each winning story. And to celebrate Jocelyn's story, 1,000 Cranes, we've decorated the podium with the origami cranes. And senbazuru is a tradition for a lot of JA women to fold 1,000 cranes before the day of her wedding. And I remember I folded 1,000 for Greg's sister, Miko. And again, to do it before, do it in a week is, and with our jichans and bachans. But it's a symbol, it's an expression of just dutifulness and of the honor and the time and patience it requires to exercise to fold these cranes. So to anybody who folds the senbazuru or any cranes at all is really a reflection of the love. And one little tradition I know that when I fold cranes, you blow into it too. So it accepts a little bit of your spirit, of your breath, of your life. So when she said, one breath in, one breath out. That's what I immediately thought of when I heard the title 1000 Cranes. So again, it was just very, very touching to me to know that a girl from Georgia, just knows and imagines what Little Tokyo is like. And this is the kind of symbiosis that we're all taking from just persons who are interested in Japanese and Japanese American culture. So again, to Jocelyn Doan, congratulations. All right, and now we have raffle giveaways. Yes. So I believe this is the bag, and I'm mixing. So it'll be above the podium, so I'm not cheating. And let's see, 204-203. Purple ticket 204-203. Yay, come on down. Is that the limited edition Gaijin Fujita Los Angeles Public Library card? Is that what I'm? Okie dokie, thank you. Congratulations. It's merch. It's merch or swag, as they call it, right? Okay. I believe we have 3 other. And thanks to the donors, Frank Abe, Little Tokyo Historical Society, and the Los Angeles Public Library. Thank you. All right, so we have next. So we're going to give out 4? I'm sorry? Oh, they were all in that bag? Oh my God! Congratulations 4 times. I didn't know you won all those things. Okay. Signed copy of the graphic novel We Hereby Refuse, donated by Frank Abe. 102 by Catherine Otoshi's book, as well as the Linda's t-shirt. So congratulations again. Now, to celebrate 10 years of creative storytelling about Little Tokyo, the committee also voted to award the lucky and talented winner in each category with a $10 cash prize. It says 1,000. 1,000? Oh my gosh. Really?
One time only.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. So $1,000 cash prize for each of the 3 winners for this year only. So again, congratulations to all the winners. Oh my God, I'm just taken aback because it literally does say 1,000. And I go, $10, 10 year anniversary. So I go, okay, that makes sense. It's like, because we're community, right? It means something. So, but it is, wow. And that, again, because I know we are a community, but to wrangle, donations of $1,000 3 times is a big task. So congratulations. And it's a supremely substantial prize for the 10th year anniversary. And it's run by, our community organizations, our beloved community organizations, Little Tokyo Historical Society and Discover Nikkei. And this idea began again from a spark of idea by our community hero, Bill Watanabe, and is entirely run by volunteers. It is only funded by your donations. And so if these stories move or entertain you, please thoughtfully leave a donation, big or small, in the donation jar, or just simply give through the Little Tokyo Historical Society at www.littletokyohs.org. Whew. I'm thrilled. It's like, my God, that's huge. It's huge. Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. Our next category, I will get to present another community leader, mentor, and overall hero. Yuko Kaifu will represent the judges panel for the Japanese language category. Kaifu-san moved from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Japan in 2007 to the Consulate General Office in LA. In 2007, she also worked at JANM as Vice President of International Programs and now serves as President of Japan House, Los Angeles. If you haven't been to Japan House, you must go there. Hollywood and Highland. I can't remember which floor it is on, but it is a supremely wonderful venue for all things Japanese and curating specialized Japanese cultural events. So thank you, Yuko Kaifu, for taking on that position. The other judges are Keiko Fukuda, who worked in the publishing field before moving to the United States and is now a freelance writer and has just authored a book, Nihon ni Uramete, born in Japan. Mitsuyasu Sakai also is a judge, and she, ごめん、Mitsuyasu、ごめんね、男女、男、ごめんね、はい、Sakaiさん、すいません。ごめん。He began as a sci-fi movie and book critic, then began work as a scriptwriter on SFX shows such as Star Wars Visions, and studied at the other school, USC School of Cinematic Arts. And he has just recently produced his first short film. But presenting Yuko Kaifu, she will introduce the judge's top selection in the Japanese language category, Color, written by Miho Hirayama. The author dreams of having her children's books in libraries all over the world so that as many children can read them. She is a huge fan of Naomi Osaka and Serena Williams and hopes to see her son play tennis at the US Open. And its reader, Mayumi Saco, one of Japan's top-tier voice and theater actresses, will read the winning Japanese story. She is supremely well known in the Japanese market as the voice of major Hollywood talents in blockbuster films such as Scarlett Johansson in Iron Man 2, Jessica Chastain in The Eyes of Tammy Faye and Zero Dark 30, and Keira Knightley in The Imitation Game. Saco-san is highly sought after in voicing characters in popular U.S. dramas such as Magnum P.I., Star Trek Picard, Star Wars Andor, and she has now become a known presence in anime and game voice work, including Spirited Away, Vinland Saga, Blade of the Immortal, and the super popular Ghost of Tsushima. So, ladies and gentlemen, I get to now introduce to you your beloved community leader, mother, and hero, Yuko Kaifu.
Thank you, Tamlyn. You don't have to feel bad about getting mixed up with Mr. Sakai's gender. I was thinking that his name is reads Miho Sakai. Miho, because from Japanese kanji, it could be read as Miho. And then I realized it's a man, and it happens to be someone that my husband knows for quite a few years. So, yes, so it's quite understandable. But at first, I'd like to congratulate the 10th anniversary of Little Tokyo Historical Society. I've known some of the members for quite some time, and but this is really the first time that I've come to know about this distinguished contest, which is really worthwhile, and it's so amazing that so many people have applied from all over the world. By the way, I'm supposed to speak in Japanese, so let me switch to Japanese. Do you understand Japanese? 日本語大丈夫ですか? You try, okay? このコンテストのジャッジを初めに依頼されましたときにどうしようかなと思いました。ちょっと忙しいってこともあって全部読めるかなっていうのと、私のような人間がジャッジが務まるかなというのがありました。でも読み始めてみますと、初めの心配は全然ありませんでした。というのはとってもすごい力作ばかりで、あっという間に読み終わりました。でも2番目の心配というのは本当でした。というのはあまりにも素晴らしい作品が多すぎて、一体どれが一番なのか、最優秀賞というのを選ぶことがとっても難しかったんです。で、3人のジャッジが、Zoom で、酒井さん日本在住でいらっしゃるので、Zoom で寄り合って、でそれぞれやはり考え方が、面白い違う視点で、話し合いをしまして、それで最後に選んだのが Color でした。でこのお話は、男の子がお父さんと一緒に、ロサンゼルスの姉妹都市の名古屋から移り住む、そういうシーンなんですね。それで、リトル東京を歩くんですけれども、実はこの、男の子、小学校の男の子ですけれども、お母さんを亡くしたばかりなんですね。それでお母さんを亡くして、お父さんもお母さんのことがとっても大好きで、それでこうまだ心が痛むままにリトル東京に来て、でもこのカラーっていうタイトルですけれども、読んでいくと本当に今日お天気ですけれども、外に一旦出るとこの夏の、輝き、それからいろんな人が歩いているこの匂いとか雰囲気とか目に見えないカラーが彷彿とするような気がしました。 それでもう本当にこのカラーにさせていただいたんですけれども、受賞者の方全然どういう方かもわからないわけですね。女性なのか男性なのか、年齢はどうなのかとかってわからないんですけれども、そんなことはやっぱり関係ありません。素晴らしい小説をお書きいただいて本当にありがとうございました。そしておめでとうございます。Let me just briefly describe, because you probably don't understand what the reader is going to read the novel, but it's about a boy in his teenagers, elementary school boy from Nagoya, who lost his mother while in Japan, and his father relocated to Los Angeles, and they were walking, the father and the son were walking together on the street of Little Tokyo, and still very much hurting about the loss of their mother. She used to make strawberry ichigo daifuku mochi when she was alive, and he misses that so much. And they kind of bumped into a Japanese wagashi shop in Little Tokyo, and then ordered ichigo daifuku. And then he realized that when his parents were young, they met in Little Tokyo or Los Angeles, and they loved each other. And his father used to buy ichigo daifuku from that shop to encourage her mother whenever she was stressed out or having struggling, because she was from Japan. So that kind of connected. The dots were connected, and he, of course, bought the ichigo daifuku. And met the girl at the shop. So it was so touching. It's about the family, it's about friends, and it's about love and the community. So again, congratulations to the writer, and thank you for choosing me as a judge.
皆さんこんにちは、佐古真由美です。今回、ショートストーリーコンテストの受賞作を朗読させていただくことになりました。本当に光栄なことでちょっと緊張しております。これからも皆さんの健康と、そしてリトル東京の街の発展を日本からお祈りしております。それではどうぞ。カラー。オレンジ色の絨毯が太陽の光でキラキラ光る街に僕は引っ越してきた。カリフォルニアポピーっていう花だよ。黄金みたいで綺麗だな。と、車を運転しながらお父さんが言った。車窓からヒュンヒュン流れていく景色は、今まで住んでいた名古屋の街とは全然違う。何もかもが大きくて、広くて、匂いも空気も、道を歩いている人たちの姿も違う。窓の外のキラキラした明るい世界とは裏腹に、僕は寂しくて、心細くて、怖くて、今にも雨が降り出しそうな、鈍色の曇り空。お父さんの仕事でアメリカに引っ越すって決まって、5年1組のクラスの友達に言ったら、みんなの目がキラッキラに輝いた。いいなあ、ヒューゴとか、すごい羨ましいとか、私もロサンゼルスに住んでみたいかっこいいなとか言ってたっけ。だから僕は、本当の気持ちは口から喉へ引っ込めてニコニコしながら、僕もすごく楽しみなんだ。英語の勉強も頑張ってるんだよ。と答えた。ヒューゴくんなら英語大丈夫でしょ？みゆちゃんが僕の肩をポンと軽く弾いて言った。ロサンゼルスは名古屋と姉妹友好都市なんだよ。担任の塚本先生が言った。姉妹友好都市？簡単に言うと、町同士が仲良しってことかな。北緯が近いんだよ。地球儀で見てごらん。塚本先生に言われて、黒板の左にある棚から地球儀を持ってきて、くるくる回しながら、ロサンゼルスと名古屋の位置を調べた。左手の人差し指で名古屋、 右手の人差し指でロサンゼルスを押さえてみる。本当だ。横の線が一緒だ。そういえばこの前、姉妹友好都市の特別給食あった。一星くんが言った。ほらあれ、なんかおしゃれなやつ。鶏肉と丸いパンと野菜と玉ねぎスープとゼリー。あったあった。美味しかったよね。給食が終わった後の休み時間、窓から流れてきたそよ風が壁に飾られた習字の半紙をパタパタとめくり上げる教室で、そんな話をしていたのが恋しくてたまらない。僕は湿った灰色の気持ちで鮮やかなオレンジジュースを飲みながら流れる景色を見つめた。今日はどこへ行くんだろう。お父さんは休みの日に車であちこち連れて行ってくれる。まだロサンゼルスに来てから1ヶ月も経っていないのに、遊園地に水族館、博物館、それから野球の観戦、バスケットボールの試合も見に行ったし、先週は大きなテーマパークに2つも行った。多分、僕が早くこの街を好きになるために、お父さんは頑張ってくれているんだと思う。仕事で疲れているのに、僕のことまで気にしなくちゃいけないなんて、うちでも休めなくて大変だよね。ごめんねお父さん。僕も早く気持ちを切り替えて、この街に慣れて楽しく過ごしたいんだけど。お母さんが生きてたら違ったのかな？どうだろう。わかんないや。それに、お母さんが生きていたら、お父さんはきっとロサンゼルスに住もうなんて言わなかっただろうし。僕はリュックからスマホを取り出して画面を見つめる。待ち受けに設定してある僕とお母さんとお父さんの写真。僕の隣で微笑んでいるお母さんはあの日のまま時間が止まっている。お母さん、僕、ロサンゼルスで暮らすことになったよ。心の中でつぶやく。学校には僕と同じように親の仕事でこっちに来た日本人の子がたくさんいて、学校の中は日本みたいだよ。一人で遊びに行けないからゲームする時間が増えちゃった。お母さんと暮らした家は隅々までお母さんの思い出が詰まっていたから、本当は引っ越しなんかしたくなかった。だけど、お父さんは辛かったのかな。思い出がありすぎて。リビングにも、キッチンにも、階段にも、お母さんの声が聞こえてくる。お母さんの匂いがする。お母さんの足音が聞こえてくる気がする。お葬式が終わって2週間が過ぎた金曜日の夜、お父さんがお皿を洗いながら泣いてたのを見たとき、僕はドキッとした。僕と目が合ったお父さんは涙を拭いて弱く微笑んだ。このお皿、結婚して2年目の春に瀬戸に行って、さゆりちゃんと一緒にろくろを回して作ったんだよ。お父さんが作ったのはそっち？僕は洗い終わって水切りしている分厚い楕円形の皿を見ながら言った。俺は不器用でうまくできなかった。でも、さゆりちゃんは完璧な丸い皿を作って、工房の人にも褒められたっけな。お父さんはスポンジを置いて、泡を水で流すと、お皿を丁寧に置いた。お父さんとお母さんが作ったお皿は、今までずっと戸棚の奥にしまわれていたけれど、今は大活躍している。朝のパンケーキも、おやつも、ハンバーグもタコスも、何でも乗せる。ぐー。お腹が鳴った。お母さんのご飯が食べたい。お母さんの作ったおやつが食べたい。ああ、そうだ。いちごの入った大福。春になるとよく作ってくれた、あの いちご大福が食べたいよ、お母さん。腹が鳴ったな。寿司食べに行こう。お父さんはそう言って、鼻歌を歌いながらハンドルを切った。ウエストテンプルストリートをまっすぐ進んでいく。窓の外を見ると、オレンジ色のお腹をした鳥が飛んでいた。僕にも羽があって、空が飛べたらいいのに。そうしたら飛んで、家に帰れるのに。でも、飛行機で12時間もかかったんだった。羽が生えて空が飛べても、一体何時間飛び続けなきゃいけないんだろう。僕が空想の羽をバサバサと羽ばたかせていると、車は止まった。僕の目はまん丸になって飛び出すかと思った。それくらい驚いた。目の前に夏祭りがあったから。赤い提灯、赤い火の見櫓、赤い鳥居まである。それに、この匂い。日本の匂いがする。ここ、何？僕は胸をドキドキさせて聞いた。リトル東京だよ。寿司もラーメンも和菓子も何でもあるぞ。食べ物だけじゃない。日本の文化がここにあるんだ。僕はキョロキョロ見ながらリトル東京の街を歩いていった。たくさんの人で賑わっていて、観光客っぽい人たちが縁日祭りと墨で描かれた白い提灯の並んでいるところで写真を撮ったりしている。僕の前を歩いていた女の子がリュックから何か落とした。拾ってみると、日本のキャラクターがついたコインケースだったから、僕は小走りしながら女の子に日本語で声をかけた。ねえ、落とし物だよ。僕の声に振り向いた女の子は、コインケースと同じキャラクターがついた T シャツを着ていた。太陽の光に当たった黒髪が明るいオレンジ色に輝いていて、まん丸の焦げ茶色の目が僕をじーっと見つめる。ほらこれ、君のリュックから落ちたよ。僕がコインケースを見せると、女の子は一瞬目を大きく開いてからキラキラの笑顔を見せた。Thanks! うっとりするような笑顔で女の子はコインケースを受け取り、緑色のオーニングテントのついた白い建物の中に入っていった。何のお店だろう。和菓子屋さんだ。お父さん、おやつ買ってもいい？ああ、もちろんだ。お店のショーケースにはカラフルなおまんじゅうが並んでいた。おせんべいもわらび餅も売ってる。ピンク色のは桜餅かな。ピンクと白と黄緑色のしましまのは何だろう。どれも美味しそうだな。その時、迷っていた視線がピタリと止まった。ふわふわの柔らかそうな白いおまんじゅうの上に、つやつやの真っ赤ないちご。いちご大福だ。お父さん、いちご大福！僕はそれだけ言うのが精一杯で、口をぎゅっと結んだ。目がじーんと痛くなって、涙が溜まってきた。お母さん、お母さん、お母さん。お父さんが困ったような悲しいような優しい顔をして、ぎゅっと僕を抱きしめてくれた。お父さんの服の匂いがする。レモンみたいな柑橘の匂いと、太陽のあったかい匂いと、苦いコーヒーみたいな匂い。苦しい。僕がそう言って笑うと、お父さんも眉毛を下げて笑った。Are you alright? 声がして振り向くと、さっきの女の子が 眉毛を寄せながら心配そうに僕を見つめていた。大丈夫。ありがとう。僕が日本語でそう言うと、女の子は首をかしげた。僕、日本人だよ。びっくりした？日本で生まれて日本で育ったの。だから日本語で大丈夫だよ。僕は平気な顔で言った。こういうのは慣れてる。僕の見た目は日本人に見えないから。外人だって言われるのも、じろじろ見られるのも日本で毎日のことだったし。しかもここはアメリカで、そしたらやっぱり英語で話しかけられるのは当たり前のこと。だからこの子はちっとも悪くないし、傷つく理由なんてない。そうだよ。ああ、ごめんね。孫のリリーは日本語がわからないんだよ。ショーケースの前に立っていた白い服の職人さんっぽいおじいさんが優しい声で言った。え？僕はびっくりした。いらっしゃい。日本から来てくれたの？うん、名古屋から。おじいさんたちはずっとロサンゼルスに住んでるの？ああ。おじいさんは微笑みながらうなずいて言った。ルーツは日本にあるけどね。私たちはロサンゼルスで生まれて、ロサンゼルスで育ったんだよ。私は日本語を母から教わったから話せるけど、孫はまだ勉強中なんだ。ああ。僕は恥ずかしくて顔から火が出そうだった。僕と同じなんだ。僕は見た目で判断されたくなくて勝手に落ち込んでたのに、僕も見た目で決めつけてたんだ。久しぶり、ケン！元気？お父さんがグーにした手を突き出して、おじいさんに向かって言った。おー、久しぶりだな、ジャック。ずいぶん顔を見てなかったぞ。いつ帰ってきたんだ？さゆりは元気か？ああ、ケン。さゆりは雲の上にいるんだ。去年12月に癌で。お父さんはそれまでの明るい声から湿った寂しそうな声になっていた。なんてことだ。ケンと呼ばれたおじいさんの顔が青ざめて、今にも雨が降り出しそうな曇った顔になった。ああ、残念だよ。とても残念だ。また会いたかったよ。おじいさんが声を震わせて顔を両手で覆った。肩がふるふる震えている。おじいさん、僕のお母さんを知ってるの？僕が聞くと、おじいさんはハンカチで顔を拭い、僕をじーっと見つめた。濡れた焦げ茶色の目が僕の奥の奥まで見つめる。ああ、君はさゆりの息子か。さゆりによく似ているね。さゆりはこの店の常連さんだったんだよ。おじいさんがショーケースの横から僕の方に歩いてきて、しゃがんで僕の手を握りながら言った。さゆりはうちのいちご大福が大好きでね。世界一美味しいって言ってくれたよ。きっかけはジャック。君のお父さんだった。お父さんが？僕はお父さんの方を見上げた。お父さんはちょっと照れたような恥ずかしそうな見たことない変な顔をしていた。さゆりが寂しいとき、悲しいとき、ホームシックになったとき、テストで大ピンチのとき、ジャックは必ずうちに来て、いちご大福を山ほど買っていった。さゆりが元気になるように、さゆりが笑ってくれるように。魔法のおやつだってジャックは言ってたな。僕もいちご大福大好きだよ。お母さんが春になると作ってくれたんだ。甘くて、じわーってして、ふわふわで、 お母さんヒューゴお父さんが僕に覆いかぶさるように抱きついてきて、僕たちは泣いた。赤ちゃんみたいにビエービエー泣いた。私もいちご大福好きよ。可愛くてハッピーな味がするもの。そう言って、リリーがいちご大福を6個包んで渡してくれた。みんな2個ずつ。お父さんが2個、僕が2個、天国のお母さんにも2個。ありがとうリリー。僕はヒューゴ。また来るね。仲良くしてくれたら嬉しいな。もちろん。私も友達になりたいなって思ってたの。リリーは桜が咲いたみたいな笑顔で言った。リトル東京へようこそ。明るい青空にオレンジ色のお腹の鳥が飛んでいる。僕の知らないお母さんの思い出がこの街にある。もう寂しくないよ。お母さんはここにいるんだ。はじめまして。よろしくね。リトル東京。
And now an acceptance speech by Miho Hirayama for color.
こんにちは、平山美穂です。光栄な賞をいただきありがとうございます。今年一番の大きな大きなプレゼントをもらって感謝の気持ちでいっぱいです。学生時代をロサンゼルスで過ごした私にとって、このイマジンリトル東京で最優秀賞を取れたことは大きな自信になりました。挑戦することは何歳からでもできるということを証明できた気分です。何度失敗したっていい。自分を信じて挑戦することにこそ意味があり、大切なんだということを子供たちに教えることができて嬉しいです。本当にありがとうございます。
I'm sure we'd all like to take a moment to dry our cheeks from the sweet and happy, nostalgic tears. What a lovely, lovely story. And to recognize all the Shin Issei who celebrate Little Tokyo and the home that has been made by our generations at the turn of the 20th century from our Ji-chans and Ba-chans, or our Ji-chans or our Ba-chans, as we say. The idea of what values are that permeate through not only Japanese, but Japanese Americans, and actually all Americans as well as the global citizens around the world, is that sense of family, that sense of love, is the sense of seeking connection. And through food like strawberry daifuku. Well, actually, I'm sure for those of us who know Little Tokyo personally, that it would be funny if Brian Kito from Fugetsudo thought of himself as a grandpa. That would be funny. But to know that Miho-san, in her imagining of what Little Tokyo is, so brightly and distinctively imagine it as orange, the California poppy, the white of daifuku with the bright red strawberry and the blue sky and the dark brown eyes of Lily and Grandpa and his father. And I just want to give a shout out to all the Shin Issei who come to make Los Angeles and the United States their home, continuing on the tradition of what it means to be Japanese in America and connecting with Japanese Americans who have been in America and with all Americans coming from other countries, as we are a nation of immigrants. So again, congratulations to Miho Hirayama for color. Okay. Now I got to go buy strawberry daifuku. Or if you can, you could get I think it's the strawberry mochi peanut butter inside. I forget though. Okay, our next raffle winner will receive a signed copy of Eijiro Ozaki's memoir, Omoi wo Genjitsu ni Suru Chikara. Eijiro is a dear, dear friend of mine and is a well-known actor who has appeared in Letters from Iwo Jima, The Sandman in the High Castle, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and is also an Imagine Little Tokyo committee member. Our next raffle gift is also another raffle gift is a signed copy of Naomi Hirahara's Hiroshima Boy. She is also the committee co-chair, which you know, and Strawberry Daifuku, which has a special meaning in today's. So there's Strawberry Daifuku. So I'll just take that. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, everybody gets what? Holy moly! Thank you, Little Tokyo Historical Society. Okay, all right, and everybody gets a Strawberry Daifuku. Okay, and picking the raffle winner is 204-192, 204-192. Are we these two separate? Two separate. Gomen ne. Okay. Together. They are together. Okay. 204-192, celebrating the writings of Eijiro Ozaki and Naomi Hirahara.
Over here.
Yay! Congratulations! You'll rip through those books easily. Actually, Eijiro, do you have a English translation of your book yet? Not yet. Mada mada? Okay. Sorry. Hopefully soon. Okay. Or else you have to do it yourself, ne? It's like, oh, I once was a young little boy. Yeah. Go on. All right. And our final category, ladies and gentlemen, is the adult category, which has received 75 submissions this year. And Iris Yamashita will represent this stellar adult category judging panel. Iris, as you well know, is another recognized Japanese-American writer, winning, nominated for an Academy Award for her screenplay Letters from Iwo Jima, directed by Clint Eastwood. And she has also been nominated for 4 Oscars, including Best Original Screenplay. Her debut novel, City Under One Roof, received early acclaim, with Iris being held as, quote, a major new talent, unquote, by Publishers Weekly. And she is joined by Jeannie Sakata, actress, sister, playwright, featured in Anna Devere Smith's acclaimed play Twilight, Los Angeles, 1992, at the Mark Taper Forum. Jeannie is recognized for her celebrated, also a writer, in her celebrated solo play, Hold These Truths, the gripping story of Gordon Hirabayashi, his fight against World War II's incarceration based on the principles of the United States Constitution, and is also played by Greg Watanabe in several tours, and for over 30 years, and lastly, our third judge, Alden Hayashi, has wrote about technology and has begun also writing. Oh my gosh, all these writers, these secret writers, began writing fiction to preserve the stories of the Nikkei experience. Alden has also published his first novel, congratulations, 2 Nails, 1 Love, just last year. And now Iris will share how the judges were unanimous in selecting the winner, The Last Days of the Dandelion by DC Palter, as its winning story. It is a blind reading with no indication of the name or gender of the writer. DC has authored mystery novel To Kill a Unicorn and colloquial Kansai Japanese, and is the editor of Japonica. After his career as a research engineer in Japan, DC returned to LA as a startup founder and as a venture investor. He lives in Mar Vista with his wife Satsuki, an ikebana artist and a tea ceremony teacher. In addition to the cash award, the winning authors have the unique opportunity to hear a dramatic reading of their stories, as you've seen today with the readings from Mika Dyo and Mayumi Saco, and popular theater actor and community favorite Gregory Hiroshi Watanabe will perform a live reading of The Last Days of the Dandelion, which is a story of generational succession, gentrification, and survival. These familiar struggles faced by legacy businesses in our beloved Little Tokyo today. Greg made his Broadway debut in Allegiance, playing Mike Masaoka, which we all saw and really celebrated at the JAT at the Aratani Theater a few years ago. And he was also just seen in an encore performance of Tales of Clamor at USC's Bing Theater, conceived by Tracy Katsukiriyama and Kennedy Cabezales. And his other credits include Ballad of Yachio, written by Lane Nishikawa, our other bro, and Golden Child by David Henry Wong. Regional performances also included, oh my God, that's right, I've seen everything you've done, I think, at the Geffen Theater because I love him. And South Coast reps Cambodian, actually in Victory Gardens Theater in Chicago of Cambodian rock band. And his numerous television credits include Nabin Secretary, Criminal Minds, and Curb Your Enthusiasm. But he is a beloved, oh my goodness, community activist, community agitator, community lover, community eater of all things delicious and ono. He is a beloved friend. And if you ever need somebody by your side to speak out for you or speak up for you, you just call Greg Watanabe and he will do you justice, as he has always done justice to the pieces that he has been presented in and he participates in. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring up to the stage for his reading of The Last Days of a Dandelion by DC Palter. Oh, ごめんね. Sorry. Iris Yamashita, please indicate to us as to what the arduous process of selecting The Last Days of the Dandelion by DC Palter was like. Ladies and gentlemen, Iris Yamashita.
I'm so sorry. I think there was a disconnect because I didn't know I was supposed to be giving a speech. But I am just going to channel Yuko Kaifu-san and say the same speech in English. Which, well, first of all, thank you to the Little Tokyo Historical Society and all the organizers of this amazing program and my fellow judges, Jeannie and Alden, and all the entrants. And just like Yuko Kaifu-san said, I thought at first that I wasn't going to have a lot of time because I have so many things going on and it seemed like a lot of work. But actually, when you get the short stories, how amazing they were and how quickly we could read through them. And there were just so many wonderful stories. And but the winner was unanimous in our group. There were so many great stories, so I thought, this is going to be hard. You know, we're not going to be able to find one winner. But amazingly, we all agreed on the winner. And I think it was just the amazing specificity of the story and the way it was able to capture the spirit of Little Tokyo, including our two favorite things, which is food and community. So this amazing story about a little ramen shop, The Last Days of the Dandelion, it really just captured kind of the soul of Little Tokyo and the feeling of generations. Like there's the old generation that, you know, you feel like all this technology and social media is overpowering the society, but then it remained hopeful with the new society. And so we just all kind of gravitated towards the story and how well it was written. And I was so surprised today to find out that the person who wrote it was not a Japanese American and not from Little Tokyo, because I just thought like it captured the spirit so well. And when we were talking about the story, we were like, wow, I know that guy. Like he talks about a realtor, and I'm like, I know that realtor. And the shop itself, I know that shop. So just the fact that, you know, he's not even from Tokyo or that he's Japanese American it floored me. So yeah, congratulations for doing such an amazing job. And we all said we just want to keep reading, like we just wanted to know what was going to happen next. So congratulations. And thank you for having me. And sorry, I just didn't prepare a speech.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, presenting and reading The Last Days of the Dandelion by DC Palter, I introduce to you the fabulous, fantastic, funny, and fierce Greg Watanabe.
The last day. Oh, yeah, okay. That's a good beginning. The Last Days of the Dandelion. On the second floor, above a rowdy sushi bar and a brightly lit omiyage shop, The dandelion was easy to miss. The only marker for the stairwell was a carved wooden sign swaying over the entrance. The yellow dandelions that had once bracketed the name long ago flaked away. Stepping in from the rain, I shook my umbrella before climbing the rickety stairs. Iris Yamashita! Kyoko-chan greeted me as soon as I rolled the door open on its metal rail. Inside, the overheated air was thick with the scent of simmering broth, pig fat, and moldering wood, reminding me of my childhood home. Oi, Awakuni, the noodle master called from behind the wall of steam rising from the giant steel cauldrons. Oi, Sakai-san, I replied over the hiss and pop of frying gyoza and the sumo blaring from the TV. I dropped the dripping umbrella in the bucket beside the door and weaved past the tables arranged haphazardly throughout the room. With only a handful of tourists scattered around the restaurant and a few LAPD cops by the door, the restaurant was even more empty than usual. I walked up to the counter to watch Sakai dunk a strainer of noodles into the boiling vat, then, with a practiced flick of his wrist, drain the water and slide the noodles into a bowl. The usual, I said, although there was no need. He nodded without looking up. Next to him was someone I had never seen behind the counter, frying a pan of gyoza. He looked too young to be a cook. Who's the new kid? I asked. This is my son Kevin, he said, the pride in his eyes hidden by the scowl on his downturned lips. He thinks he wants to learn how to make ramen. Once he masters gyoza in a few years, he can start on fried rice. Hi, sir, Kevin said, wiping his fingers on his apron before reaching over the counter to shake my hand. His longish hair was tied back with a rubber band into a stubby chonmugget, and his forehead was around his forehead was a black bandana with the red Japanese sun he'd probably bought at the omiyage shop downstairs. He looked about the same age as my own son, a senior in high school who had no interest in learning my construction business or anything else besides playing video games all night. When's the kid taking over? I asked. Sakai narrowed his eyes, turning his crow's feet into deep furrows and making me regret my joke. Listen, Ono, he grunted. There's something I gotta tell you. I waited, but he said nothing more as he arranged 3 slices of chashu into a perfect fan pattern in the bowl. After spooning in glistening red benishoga and sprinkling green onions on top, he looked up at me and said, I'll tell all of you later. He then dinged the bell for pickup, though Kyoko was already waiting in front of the counter. When I reached our booth in the back corner, George Aoki, the king of Little Tokyo real estate, saluted me with a sake cup. Oh no, it's Ono. He greeted me with his usual refrain. Fred Ueda, the vice president of the big Japanese bank on the corner, laughed at George's joke for the millionth time. Glad you could make it, Ono, he said, loosening his tie and unbuttoning his collar. I was afraid I was going to be stuck listening to George all night. Where is everyone? I asked. Most nights there'd be 5 or 6 of us sitting around the booth, even more on Wednesdays after golf. But tonight, only George and Fred sat across from each other, looking lost at the big table. George pointed up at the sky. It's raining, Ono, or didn't you notice? He was a pompous ass. But nobody complained because he always paid for the sake. Not the warmed-up crap from the big bottles along the back wall, but the good stuff Sakai kept hidden in the refrigerator under the counter. Fred grabbed the bottle of kikusui, condensation running down the cornflower blue label, and filled my small ceramic cup. Kanpai! We shouted, much too loud. The other diners turned to glare at us as we chinked our cups together. I breathed in the aroma of green apple and honeydew before taking a small sip. The taste was as clean and clear as Niigata snowmelt, with a touch of sweetness, only the faintest tinge of alcohol as the liquid slid down my throat. I said, starting to relax after a long day. Managing contractors. Fred refilled our cups as Kyoko arrived with my ramen. I slipped the firm and chewy noodles. Sakai-san made overnight and savored the tonkatsu broth creamy from pork bones left simmering for days, reminding me yet again why the Dandelion was the best ramen in ramen-obsessed L.A. When I'd finished slurping every last noodle and had dug every last black mushroom and bamboo sprout out of the murky soup, I pushed the bowl aside. I took another sip of sake and asked, "Did Sakai-san tell you his big secret?" George shrugged. Fred's eyes lit up, eager for the fresh gossip, but neither of them knew anything. I looked over to the bar, but Sakai was busy explaining something to his son. Even after all the other diners were gone, we continued downing cup after cup of sake while moaning about our work and kids, debating the Dodgers' chances in the upcoming season, and plotting how they would snag Shohei Ohtani away from the Angels to guarantee the pennant. Our voices grew animated, our laughter even louder, until suddenly Kyoko shut off the TV. "Time to go home, boys," she declared. "We're closing." Fred groaned. George protested it was still early. Kyoko ignored us. We put on our coats to leave. "Wait," Sakai hollered. He stepped around the counter with a bottle of Johnny Black in one hand, 4 highball glasses in the other. Sitting down beside George, he poured 2 fingers of the amber liquid into each glass and pushed them across the table. He didn't even wait for a kampai before taking a big gulp of his whiskey. "What's up?" George asked. But Sakai wouldn't be rushed. He held the glass in front of his face as he looked at each of us in turn. "Got bad news today," he finally said. "Cancer, divorce, or bankruptcy," I guessed. It had to be one of the big 3. The noodle master took another gulp of whiskey, then looked down at the table. "The Dandelion is closing," he grunted. We sat with mouths hanging open. This restaurant, this booth, had been our home for ages. "When?" Fred asked. "End of the month." He held up his glass to salute us. "Just wanted to say thanks." I sipped at the honey-colored fire, enjoying the burn in the back of my throat. "Why?" I asked. "Lease is up. Landlord won't renew." "Baka," Fred muttered, then turned to the king of real estate. "You can talk to the owners, can't you, George? Get them to change their minds?" "Don't waste your breath," Sakai said, shaking his head. "The sushi bar downstairs want the space. They've got money to burn." "Well, can't you find another place? What about all the vacancies on 2nd or the new plaza they're building on Alameda? Parking would be better there, too." Sakai turned into the glass as if there were answers trapped inside the amber liquid. "It's over. My time is done. This place is empty." George laughed. "Don't be such a downer. Wes, it's L.A. Nobody goes out in the rain." "We're empty every night, even the weekends. Can't compete with all the new places." How could the Dandelion, the best ramen in bustling Little Tokyo, not be packed with diners? Aren't we in the middle of a ramen craze? YouTube is full of kids talking about their favorite ramen. Yeah, that's the problem. Kids don't know shit. They want to hear a story of a family recipe handed down for generations, some bullshit about water flown in from Fukuoka or chashu made from free-range pigs. Not some old guy from Culver City whose family grew beans before the internment. We tried to tell him it was wrong. The Dandelion could be saved. He turned and whistled at his son, scrubbing pots in the sink. "Kev-kun, get over here." Kevin looked up, surprised to see all of us watching him. He shut off the water, dried his hands on his apron, and walked over to stand in front of the booth. With a pimpled face, crooked teeth, and a tattoo on his forearm, I guessed he was neither studious nor popular. But his expression was gentle, perhaps even a little lost. He seemed more like me in high school than my son, with his daily training regimen of esports domination. "Tell these guys what you always tell me," Sakai ordered. "About what?" About everything, about those stupid reviews. His face was blotchy from the alcohol. Sure, Dad, Kevin said without guile. Well, our Yelp score is 2.7. Not so good. No wonder the place was empty. But a 2.7 score made no sense. What's the problem, I asked. Mostly stupid stuff. Like, one gave us 2 stars because she wanted udon and we only have ramen. Another gave us 1 star because we don't have anything vegan. Sakai banged his glass down. This is a tonkatsu restaurant! He shouted. Don't they understand good tonkatsu makes pig bones? If you want vegan, go somewhere else. Another complained we didn't have Thai iced tea. See? We nodded in sympathy at the unfairness of it all. You know, Dad, Kevin said quietly, maybe we could have Thai iced tea? His father's face turned a brighter shade of red. Thai iced tea at a ramen restaurant? Sure, why not? I like Thai iced tea. I could make it easy. Because, Kevin, this is a ramen restaurant, a real ramen restaurant, not some stupid Americanized version. Have you ever seen Thai iced tea at a ramen restaurant? Yeah. Dad, they all have it now. Some even have boba. Boba! He spat. Matcha boba would be huge. We could bring in people in the middle of the day when we're always empty. For boba? And snacks? Ramen snacks? You know, manju or something? Nobody wants manju except those old tea ceremonious ladies. Manju ice cream? It's popular now. That's a manju? So what? All my friends hang out at the boba place after school. It's doing really well. The boy made sense, even if his father didn't like it. Maybe the kid has something, I suggested. Yeah, rocks in his head. Why don't you give it a try? Because our lease is up, that's why. That's it. We're done. You've got 30 days. Why not see what happens? What have you got to lose? My dignity, he muttered as he downed another gulp. I looked at Kevin. What else would you do? Well, Dad's gonna hate this. What now? His father grumbled. The name? What name? The Dandelion? The 3 of us gasped. Sakai banged his glass on the table. No way! But Dad, but what? For 35 years, the Dandelion has meant something. The best damn ramen in America. But it's a stupid joke from an old movie nobody watched in years. I cringed. The kid was entering dangerous territory. Nobody called Tampopo just another old movie. Itami's masterpiece about a ramen shop was the greatest Japanese movie ever. For years after it came out, every new ramen restaurant was named Tampopo, or in English, Dandelion. A yellowing headshot signed by Greg Watanabe still hung proudly next to the register. But perhaps the boy was right. 35 years was long ago. Maybe it was time for a change. What did you have in mind? He rushed to the store and grabbed a notebook to show us his sketches of a remodeled restaurant. In place of the old booths were long stainless steel tables to eat standing up in an airy open space. The wood paneling was gone. Bare walls were hung with artwork and lit with spotlights. Nice design, I said, handing him back the sketchbook. But the artwork's too expensive. No, that's the whole point, Mr. Ono. We're right next to the LA Arts District. I was thinking we could make this into an exhibition space for local artists. Art in a ramen shop? His father said, incredulous. Why not, Dad? We'll have coffee, too, and cocktails at night. He pointed to the area where we were sitting. We can put a stage right here for a DJ on the weekends. Sakai shook his head sadly, but I thought the kid's ideas were worth trying. Except, of course, removing the booth where our crew always hung out. Okay, son, I said, I'm in. In what, Mr. Ono? I'll do the construction at cost. You can pay me back in a couple of years. But we only have a month. Well, you're in luck. I pointed at George. Mr. Aoki here is going to get your lease extended, aren't you, George? I don't. You're going to show everyone what the king of Little Tokyo real estate can do, right, George? Convincing the landlord to extend the lease wouldn't be easy, but George always bragged how he twisted arms to get deals done. Now was his chance to prove he was more than bluster. Far tougher would be getting his father on board, but I was confident Sakai would come around to help his son continue his legacy once we'd fleshed out the plans. Ito can do the plumbing, Fred suggested. Ito is a better golfer than a contractor, but he'd do the job at cost. Maybe Akiyama can set him up with some small business loan, and Sugimoto can do the signs. Fred was right. Rescuing the Dandelion, or whatever the restaurant's new name would be, had to be a community project. Everyone who'd be sitting in the booth for years needed to help out and save our home. I pulled out my phone and started calling the crew, told them to get over here. From Pasadena and the Valley, Santa Monica and Torrance, bankers and lawyers, designers and journalists, they all agreed to come. Despite the late hour and the strengthening rain, there was work to be done in Little Tokyo.
And now we have the distinct pleasure of having in person DC Palter to give us his acceptance speech for the last days of the Dandelion.
Wow, I can't see anything. Writers are much better at writing than they are at speaking, so please forgive me. And
this way. There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Can you hear me? Good. All right. So I didn't know I was supposed to say anything, so I didn't prepare anything. And I'm not very good at speaking, so bear with me. But wow, this is just an incredible honor. I'm really honored to win this award, and especially it is a special meaning to me because on the committee were a couple of my literary heroes. I studied screenwriting at UCLA, and we studied Iris's script, which I thought was the best script I'd ever read. And Naomi's books have been favorites of mine. So this really has a lot of special meaning to me. When I lived in Tokyo, for about a year and a half before I moved to Kobe. We were a bunch of gaijin. We hung out. We lived in Nakano Sakawe, which is the next station after Shinjuku. It was a small community area, and we were a bunch of gaijin that we didn't like cooking very much, so we were young. So we would hang out at it was an izakaya that was a couple blocks away, and pretty much every night we would just go there, hang out, eat ramen, eat whatever they had, and drink a lot of sake. And as Tokyo expanded, and especially Shinjuku expanded, that area is now a very popular area. And last time I went back a while back, and the shop was gone. And I was just very sad about that. And I thought, I really want to write a story about that shop and the people that hung out there, because it was the same people. It was a neighborhood pub. And that's what an izakaya is. It was a neighborhood pub where everybody hung out and everybody knew each other. And even though we were the foreigners in the community, everyone was really nice to us. We didn't speak any Japanese. They didn't speak any English, but they were really nice. And that place had a special place in my heart. But that was 30 years ago. And soon after that, I moved to Los Angeles. I worked in the tech industry. And then recently, I was writing a novel set in the tech industry up in the Bay Area set in Nihonmachi, the Japantown of San Jose. And I was finishing that up. I was working on the editing when I saw Naomi's tweet saying, hey, there's a short story contest about Little Tokyo, Los Angeles. I'm like, well, that's what I'm supposed to be writing about, not San Francisco, not the Bay Area. My wife and I have lived down here for close to 30 years. We are not Little Tokyo people. We are Little Osaka people. Sawtell, if you're not familiar with the term, used to be called. And Tokyo people and Osaka people, a different world. Same thing, East Siders, West Siders of LA. It's a different world. UCLA, USC, it all fits in. But my wife does Ikebana, and she does a lot of events in Ikebana. So we're down here at the JACCC. We're down here at Janum. She's done some exhibitions. Japan House. She's done some of the Ikebana there. So we're down here in Little Tokyo all the time, and always love just being here. But over the years, as we all know, it's changed. When we first came here was around the time of the riots. It was a difficult time for this place and this community. Things have changed and changed and changed, and now we walk around today and it's just full of people, and it's great. Lots of new shops, lots of excitement, lots of young people. But then I think about the older shops that have been here, and as they start to close down, as the young kids are like, oh yeah, we need the Hakaza ramen, and not this stuff that's been here forever, we lose something as well. And so that's what I wanted to write about. And I really appreciate the Little Tokyo Historical Society that's preserving the history here, the old times here, but also promoting the new Little Tokyo, and I think we need both. And again, this is just an incredible honor, and thank you so much. ありがとうございました。
Don't go anywhere. I know. Actually, we're going to do a raffle first. Or do you want to switch it around? So Michael Okamura from the Little Tokyo Historical Society, I believe, has a certificate to present. Yes?
I have DC, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a certificate of your marvelous story,
yes,
as well as a check. But this one is not for 10-0. It's 10. It's 1000. So $1,000. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yes.
And as DC was saying, Little Tokyo is changing, and as I was listening to your story, I was thinking, which ramen shop is that here in J-Town? So many ramen shops, and but as you were saying, we move forward into the future.
Yes.
It evolves.
Yes.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Okie dokie. And rounding out, we have our last section. No, second to last, sorry. Our next raffle are gifts from are they two separate raffle prizes? Or No, this is not. This is not. So these are gifts from two of our judges. One is a signed copy of Iris Yamashita's first mystery novel, City Under One Roof, and also another signed copy of Alden Hayashi's Two Nails, One Love. And as you may have noticed, a theme has been touched upon through the stories, through the winning story in the adult category, which illustrates the challenges of Little Tokyo legacy businesses in the face of gentrification, rising rents, and the struggle to preserve our cultural integrity here in Little Tokyo. Those who share that concern, many of us do. And if you are interested in learning how to be a part of protecting our special community, please spend a little time with our very friendly, approachable, and great brothers and sisters of the Little Tokyo Community Impact Fund, such as Bill Watanabe, Steve Nagano, who organized Little Tokyo Sparkle this morning, who will be at the table right outside in the foyer after this program. This year has been truly unprecedented year, and with so many excellent stories, our judges have selected also an honorable mention. We're going to do the raffle first, yes? Okay, so, I know. It's okay. No worries. We're flexible. We're flexible. All righty. Here we go for the 2 signed copies of City Under One Roof and Two Nails, One Love. 204176. 204176. Signed copy. I hear a chuckle. Congratulations. Congratulations. And going on, the judges also did, because they were so inundated with over almost 175 entries, the judges also selected honorable mentions, and we'd like to go over those mentions as well. In the English adult category, Aftershocks by Allison Ozawa Sanders from Santa Cruz receives an honorable mention. In the Japanese language category, Why Not Little Tokyo by Kosuke Kaburagi. Yay! Yay! As well as the youth category had 2 honorable mentions that will split this prize. Number 1 is Unlocking Memories by Madeline Tuck from Colleyville, Texas. Madeline is 13 years old and was last year's honorable mention. And number 2 is Ba-chan by Zoe Laird-Wara-Wutawi from San Diego, who is 18 years old. Congratulations to those honorable mentions of the English, Japanese categories in adult and as well as the youth category. And if these titles intrigue you, you are in luck because all of the honorable mentions will be published in Discover Nikkei. And the winning stories will be as well, in addition to the Little Tokyo Historical Society's website and our favorite local newspaper, the Rafu Shimpo. Okie dokie. Now the last grand prize from the raffle, sponsored by the Little Tokyo Historical Society and Discover Nikkei. Through Imagine Little Tokyo, and we welcome back again Mr. Michael Okamura, president of LTHS. And he will also make the closing remarks and go, yes, get up here, Michael. Everybody's waiting for the grand prize. And he will pick the ticket for the grand prize. So ladies and gentlemen, hands together for Michael Okamura once again.
Thanks, Tamlyn. And I want to thank all of you for being here. We didn't think we would get to 10 years, but here we are. And I distinctly remember the first year when we met, thinking about this Bill's idea of having the short story contest. We met in Pasadena at a dessert shop. I think Naomi probably picked that. And it was just a small committee, but over the years we've grown. And if you are very intrigued about what this committee does throughout the year, we invite you to be part of the short story contest and Little Tokyo Historical Society. So the grand prize, let's do this now, the raffle grand prize. The donors are Boyle Heights Community Partners, our partner in the historic neighborhood just east of Little Tokyo. And the founder and CEO is Vivian Escalante. Jeffrey G. Chin, who is a well-known film director and a board member of Little Tokyo Historical Society. He's done the Little Tokyo Reporter short film as well as the award-acclaimed novel or a book is A Rebel's Outcry. And Naomi Hirahara, so thank you. Also, Nick Nagatani, a well-known writer, Rafu Busan. It's a legacy business of Little Tokyo that's in Honda Plaza. And that's it. So let's select the winning number. Okay. So the winning number is 204211. 204211. Are we in the house? They left? Okay. Last chance, 204211. Is that okay, Nicole? I can pick another one? All right. Here we go. 204190. 204190. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations, and enjoy all those gifts there. This committee is so committed to this very important project of the Little Tokyo Historical Society, and it's a wonderful group of friends to work with. And we do have meetings via Zoom, hybrid meetings, and before the pandemic, we used to always have our meetings at a various restaurant in Little Tokyo. And, a couple of them are no longer around, unfortunately. But the committee members included myself, and the co-chairs are Mia and Naomi. So thank you very much for producing this 10th anniversary special. And then we also have John Kenzo Okea. He's the illustrator who designed our posters. So if you notice the really kind of colorful and avant-garde and very Japanesque or Japan cool style. He was introduced to us by Nisei Week Japanese Festival, who designed the poster last year. Bill Watanabe, Clyde Fugami, Eijiro Ozaki, Emiko Mita, I think who's already left, Janice Hirohama, Kevin Keizuchi Liu, a newer member, so thank you. Up there, okay. And Kathy Tokudomi, also a new member. Marty Kwan Kawahara, sidekick to Naomi, and thank you, Marty. Megumi Anjo, Nick Nagatani. Is he here? Oh, okay. Right there. Thank you, Nick. Nicole Shima, a new member as well. Shige Higashi, I think one of the original committee members. He is the publisher of Culture News. And Steve Nagano. Okay. So again, thank you for all who committed so much of your time and dedication. Then we'd like to acknowledge the Japanese American National Museum for being our partner and for allowing us to hold this event at their venue. And if you have time, please go to the museum and see their exhibitions, as well as I think you might know about the Ide Memorial Book for those who were incarcerated in the concentration camps or who have family members. You can go to the museum and stamp a name of an incarceree in the book. Then Yoko Nishimura, Discover Nikkei. So thank you, Yoko-san. Without your help, we wouldn't be able to partner with such a wonderful organization. Thank you, Yoko-san. And Elizabeth Morikawa, again, thank you for putting this all together today. Vicky Murakami Tsuda with the virtual moderation. Okay, so Vicky, I've known you for I don't know how long, but thank you for doing this too. Mina Otsuka, the Japanese to English translation. So Mina-san, thank you for doing that. Yokohama, the speech translation. It was, for those who understand Japanese, just reading the English translation, it was very good, I thought. Very, very. I'm not bilingual, but I know enough where I could understand both sides. And then Evan Kodani, the subtitle production. That was amazing work, Evan. Thank you, Evan. Okay. And, well, without all of these dedicated partners, we wouldn't be able to do this year after year, and especially the 10th anniversary special. So Tamlyn, you were just beyond words. You've done so much for the community every time. Thank you, Tamlyn. Many of us in this room are dedicated to Little Tokyo and to the history, what Little Tokyo is going through now and what the future holds for Little Tokyo. We all have our personal stories about this beloved neighborhood. Personally, my dad's parents met here in the mid-20s. They got married at the old Union Church. They had a business on which is now Iso Street, so North San Pedro Street back in the day before the war. My first banking job was at Merit Savings and Loan Association. So I worked for Bruce Kaji back in the 80s. And then I've been a volunteer at JANM for 34 years. So I have a deep, deep history in Little Tokyo. But again, all of us, thank you so much for for wonderful participants today. The cash prizes, that I think is a magnet to the story submissions, especially this year, because as we mentioned, $1,000, that's the first year we did this, we had one category and the prize was $1,000. But over the years, we've increased the number of categories as well as the cash prize. This year, we felt it's a 10th anniversary. We have to make this big, really celebrate. So just getting the $1,000 three times, $3,000, it was not that difficult. And I think because we have so many supporters, just loyal followers over the years, and some of them are not even members of LTHS, but they feel so strongly about this project and the contest. So our gold donors are higher level donations. Kyo Fukumoto, who I saw this morning at Little Tokyo Sparkle, Jin Kanamori, Irene Simonian. Irene is the owner-operator of another legacy business in Little Tokyo, Bunkado gift shop, 76 years. John Tanaka in the house right there, and Cindy, his wife, and Sandra Toshiyuki. Sandra is a dear friend. She is from Sawtell, but her family had a pharmacy in Little Tokyo before the war called Tenshodo. Two stores, Tenshodo on 1st in San Pedro and 1st in LA, and they had one in Sawtell. So everyone knows her from Sawtell, but she was a Nisei queen in 1976. Okay. Then we have our next level of donors. So a list of all these wonderful people, generous individuals who have given over time to the various contests. So thank you again. Okay. And to our raffle prize donors, already mentioned, but again, I think that just having your generous donations this time made it even special, more special. Oh yeah, and out in the foyer, we have free books available to you should you want a copy, and they are, okay, so just pick them up. We don't want to take those back, so all right, thank you. Yeah. Our co-chair, thank you, Mia and Naomi.
And also, when you go out, please pick up your strawberry daifuku. And next to it, there will be the table with the Little Tokyo Community Impact Fund. And did you have last words, Tamlyn? Because you're so...
Oh, no. I just, if I can, because it's in conjunction with our Little Tokyo community. It is, I think you might have received or have seen in the Rafu Shimpo that David Ono's Defining Courage will be presented on June the 7th at Costa Mesa. So Orange County folks and San Diego folks and Southern California folks get a chance to see this wonderful show at the Segerstrom Concert Hall on June the 7th, which is a Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Tickets will be available at definingcourageshow.com. Again, definingcourageshow.com. Or just Google David Ono World War II story. You'll see it's a wonderful production, and I can tell you publicly that tickets are on sale. But also, it's an extremely special presentation because Disney Studios will be filming that production in order to broadcast it for Veterans Day in November this year. So that production is very special. It is being partnered with myself as well as JANM, Japanese American National Museum, as well as the board chair of the Segerstrom Center of the Arts, Jane Fujishige Yada, who is also the auntie of this year's Nisei Week Queen, Christine Yada. So it is definitely a community event. But again, knowing that is a specifically Japanese American story,
it is also an American story. So to be able to have people see this incredible collection stories of the 100th, 442nd, MIS, and 522nd, please go to definingcourageshow.com, and we'll see you on June 7th. And again, for all those who are in this room, we are all ohana, we are all kizuna, we are all kyodai, we are all family. We all imagine Little Tokyo back in its heyday. We all imagine Tokyo in its future, but we are all in Little Tokyo today. So if you have a chance, please frequent the lovely and so heartwarming businesses, the legacy businesses, especially of Bunka Do, of Rafubusan, of Suehiro, which is going through changes now, Fugetsu Do, but also Japanese Village Plaza. And let us just celebrate what it means to be American of Japanese descent. Go eat the strawberry daifuku out in the foyer, and we'll all see you again next year for the 11th Imagine Little Tokyo Short Story Contest. So thank you so very much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so very much. And again, happy Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander month, and good luck to you all. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.